everybody. It's Safi and Marco, Dish Out on the Movies. Today we are doing episode 8 of Alien Earth. It's the final episode of this season. And it is called The Real Monsters, which I think we all would agree that would be the people.
See, look at this. While Safi was doing that, I just completed E equals MC squared.
Great. Okay, so let's get into it. I'll let Marco start out since he loves the show so much. And this is the finale, okay? And we have been through this over and over. Just for the most part, not every time, for the most part, people are just not good with finales.
This guy.
And Noah, well, I can't, I've seen all the Fargo episodes. I don't know what else Noah's done, but
nothing.
I've seen.
I don't think anything else like major.
Okay. Well, I'm just familiar with the Fargo. I've seen them all, and the one that's closest to my memory, of course, is the most recent one. And the finale was just okay. It wasn't. In fact, you kind of expected. You were given this expectations because of the way they presented the like the trailer for it, maybe, and maybe hinting at it, like the end of the previous episode is going to be this real slash and burn banger episode.
Banger.
Lots of fireworks.
Safi, are you copying people?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
British people. And but no, it was actually pretty mild. It kind of came and went, and of course it was a terrible death.
I like how Safi said, I'm going to let Marco go first, and then you went on like a monologue.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, but anyway.
Well, no, it was just like, you're like...
It's just funny.
Okay,
Marco
Marco.
is, you'll love listening to what he says, but it just didn't surprise me at all. And plus the fact, well, we'll talk about it later, but anyway, it was just a kind of, okay, that's the last episode. See you next year.
Well, see, now that Safi's done with her opening monologue, I wanted to start off by saying, look, number one, I knew it was going to be bad.
Yeah, Marco knew. But I expected it too. Not that it was going to be bad, but that it was going to be. They would probably not kill the characters off. I mean, you never know, but see, they're renewing it. I've heard more than once for next season, and so they don't want to kill their characters off. They want them to live to go on for the next season and maybe another one after that. But I don't know that for sure, but I really do, because if you think about his last Fargo, they didn't, it wasn't going to be renewed. I mean, not that. It was a one and done. That's what the Fargo seasons are, one and done. They have a different kind of story every season. So if they killed somebody off, that's the way it is, but not in this show. That's the difference.
Okay, I guess I get to give my review now.
Okay, come on.
I have a number of things to say. It's just
go ahead.
Matter of time
Don't
when
be
I
shy.
get to say them. Well, number one, I knew it was going to be bad because the guy who makes this show, he can't do finales. He's terrible at finales. I don't care what people say about Fargo. Those finales sucked. They weren't very good. Okay.
Did you think about all of them?
Am I going to get to...
Okay.
Oh, okay. I looked back and I thought it would be an interesting exercise to rank all of the finales that he's done so that I can just tell him how bad he is. So I thought that, I don't know when I'll probably do that at the very end. I've already ranked them. I might do that at the very end just so that people who just want to hear about this episode hear about this episode. But I would say the big thing is that, look, all the modern TV finales, for the most part, all of them are the exact same in that they're either really anticlimactic and they go for a quote-unquote realistic approach, or they go for a trailer for next season. Those are the two things that they do. Instead of, a finale used to mean something grand and something really high stakes and exciting. Everyone kills each other. A guy gets dumped by a girl and then he cries. There has to be something big that happens. And now they have this belief that, you can't have big things happen in a finale because that's just not how life works. That's not realistic. And so it's better to have character driven, and that's the word they always use, character driven finales, where it's just because you expected action doesn't mean that's what would really happen in real life. In fact, I've been listening to Better Call Saul commentaries, and they talk about in season 4, that's when Better Call Saul went downhill. And they keep on saying things like, I wish we could have done that. I wish that would happen, but the story didn't take us there. Apparently, I remembered that, Mike and Jimmy hardly encounter each other in season 4. Well, the main showrunner, he was saying, I'm looking at this scene, I just wish that Jimmy and Mike got to be together the rest of the season, but that's just not where the story took us. And it's that's not how to be a good writer. It's I can't...
What does that even mean?
It means that, I'm not even though they're the writers, they're not in control. They're letting the story and the characters control them. And so, it's a weird type of thing. It's this, modernist, kind of anticlimactic type of thing, postmodernist type of thing, where let's let the story take us where it wants to take us, and who cares if it's fun or exciting or it's big and it's epic. Let's just let it be blah. And I think another issue with this finale, besides the fact that it sucks, is that it's basically a glorified trailer for a season 2, and it's doing the exact same thing that the whole season did, which is they have good ideas, and they bait you on, and they make you think, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And then nothing happens. Nothing interesting or fun happens. Nothing exciting. Nothing action-packed. It's just like a big tease. And that's what this show is. It's a tease. It should be called Alien Tease. And they've been doing that since the beginning of the show, though. So I don't understand why people are so surprised. I don't understand why they didn't expect this from the guy who made the show. That's exactly what he did in Fargo, where, you thought this was going to be an exciting finale. Well, we're just going to kill off the characters really fast, and then we're going to do a family drama or something. That's what he does. He specializes in bullshit. He specializes in, making TV shows that they just... this show, I still don't know what the story is of Alien Earth, even at the end of season 1. I don't know if it's about the synths, if it's a show about those stupid Disney adult synths.
Well, we don't get the whole story on everybody.
But what's the story of the show? There's no story. There's no story.
I think they're making it up as they go along.
Yeah, is it aliens? Is it Peter Pan allegory? Masturbatory, pretentious Peter Pan allegory? I don't know what this is. I don't know what the show is. It's just a big nothing. And every episode has to end with a
hard rock music with the words that print across the screen.
These terrible songs that just don't fit the show at all. It's God, what happened to music? what happened to music and TV shows and movies? It's just that's terrible too.
I don't know. That's a purposeful, that stuff at the end.
Well, it sucks. And so I didn't hate the finale. I mean, it's not the worst finale he's ever made, but it is the second worst, so it's kind of a close contender. You know, I mean, and maybe I'm a bit harsh because I just saw, Dexter Resurrection's finale, which was really, really good, and that was a great finale because it was very simple, and it kept things very simple so that all they had to do was just play with those couple of things the whole episode, and it was also very exciting, very action-packed, and it felt like an old school type of finale. And even Wednesday season 2 finale was really good. The only thing that was bad was that they didn't let the male characters do anything. They made it so that the male characters, they had to sit around while the female characters did all the work. And they did all the cool stuff. But other than that, like, this might be the worst finale of the year. I don't know. Daredevil's finale was terrible too. King of the Hill's finale was terrible. So this is just another terrible modern TV show finale. I give it like a B minus. And it could, like, even, and just one last thing, even though I give it a B minus or a B, that should be a quote unquote good grade, but it's not a good finale. A good finale is an A or an A+. Whenever you look at TV shows on IMDb, they always give certain episodes the highest ratings. You always see finales, they have a really high rating, and the rest of the episodes, they vary.
Why?
Because that's when always something exciting happens.
Oh.
So people like the finale. So the finales always get a lot more attention, a lot more positivity, so that's a big red flag with the show that the finale is bad, because that he's never gonna learn. He's just gonna do the same old shit he always does, and now Safi can talk.
Well, I thought it was kind of bland, but I thought that was purposeful too, because like I said, they're going to renew it, or they've already renewed it. What?
That's not an excuse.
Well,
and see, that's the by the way, that's the other problem, is that every TV season should tell its own story, and every TV season you should have a complete feeling at the end. And that's another thing that the Dexter Resurrection series did, is that they closed that story. They had a story in season 1, they closed it, and they set up season 2 a little bit at the end. That's what a good TV show does. A bad TV show, they go, oh, well, we're going to get a season 2 because I'm the Fargo showrunner and I can do whatever I want. And I'm not going to say other things.
Well, I've watched Grimm, and they always had, for the most part, a very exciting finale that actually would stretch into the next show. But I mean, you're left on a hook, and you want to watch more. But it's something bad is happening to the main characters, or something bad is happening, and so then it goes, well, you'll just have to wait till next season. And then I was thinking about another one, but I'll just end with that. But anyway, just use that one as an example. I mean, I know what a good finale is, and I just think probably another part of the problem is they don't know what the show is, like Marco said. Like, we don't even know the whole backstory to this place. We just finally, this is our last episode, we finally learn about Cavalier. That his dad was an alcoholic, and he was real smart, like a super genius. We all know that. We didn't know about the alcoholic part, and he killed him. And he turned him into this. And when you say this, who's this? That's that bald-headed guy who was always like the consummate businessman. But he was very icy and unfeeling. I mean, he didn't have any feeling at all. It like he was trying to take Joe. I guess their plan was to get Joe to get that eye thing in his head.
Yeah.
Which some people had speculated.
And by the way, here's I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to be anal about this episode because the show doesn't deserve it. But a good example of the Fargo, and I'm eating animal crackers. A good example of the Fargo-isms of the show is that there's a scene where the boy genius is in his room, and all of the cameras have been turned off by Wendy, and the sheep is sitting there with the eye in it still. And, he said last episode he wants to put the eye in a person and talk to them and have a really interesting conversation. Well, there's a guy standing right there at his door, a security guy. And I was thinking, why don't you, in a real TV show, in a TV show written by someone who isn't a moron, they would have that happen. Because he's sitting there, and you're thinking, why isn't he putting two and two together? Okay, there's a guy right there, and there's the eyeball. Let's do that. No, he just is like,
what? He's got a one-track mind.
I'm gonna find someone else. Actually, I gotta find someone who's worth. I don't know, but that's an example of the Fargo-isms. Is that in a real show, in a better show, he would have just looked at that random guy. And he would have said, "Hey, why don't you come over here and look at the sheep for a second?" and then that would have happened, and we could have closed that off, and that could have been something cool, because they tease that, and then it doesn't happen. That's like a piece of shit, And what I'm saying is that's an example of what this guy does. Is he introduces these elements. These story elements, and then he says, "Oh well, what if this could happen?" And then he says, "Oh no, never mind. That's not. No, you were thinking too much. You were putting too much into it. You were expecting something fun to happen. You can't do that with me. Well, you can't do that in Fargo."
The weirdo straight man guy
straight man.
Well, he didn't have any emotions. And he always wore that business suit.
The bald guy?
Yeah, the bald guy. Who is actually, guess what? He's the boy Wonder's dad. Who he killed because he was an alcoholic and he was bad to him. He treated him terribly. And he made him into a cyborg. And so he's not even real. He's a cyborg.
Well,
But that was a surprise.
Yeah.
The backstory, just the whole backstory was a surprise. But we haven't heard anything about the origin of the island and the boy genius and all that. That's important.
But here's a good message that the show teaches you. Never trust a bald.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, so he takes Joe into that room. That's where the sheep was. And he smiled. It's the only time I've seen him show any emotion. He smiles, but it's fake. I don't know how he did it. It's a fake smile. And so the door to the container that sheep was in was open. And the eyeball popped out of the sheep, and it started to go after Joe. And Joe's not a dummy. He doesn't just sit and take it. He does try to save himself. So he locks himself in that container. Well, this is a smart alien, of course. And there's a food tray, I think, and he tries to get in there, and then Joe has to run out of there. And of course, Wendy's coming because she was going to be help or whatever she was going to do, dealing with him. And so she saves him. I don't know what she did. She threw the thing into the wall or something. And but anyway, that was the only time that guy showed any emotion, and because they had this plan, and the plan was to put Joe in there and get the eyeball in him. So they were going to do that. A lot of people had speculated that, but it wasn't successful, and the eyeball just gave up, and he left the room. I mean, he left the whole place and went out onto the island. so the other big surprise, which I do like surprises, because if you're just going to expect
Surprise!
everything to happen the way you said they're going to happen, then what fun is that? What good is that? You know? And so nobody said this, I don't believe. Arthur, because it doesn't make sense in a way to me and maybe to other people. Arthur, who was in the water. Now, the time of this stuff happening, Arthur the thing came out of his chest, so he's dead, right? And they had dragged him around, those soldiers just left him in the water. But no, he was dragged up somehow up to the shore, or he floated up to the shore. And so he was in the water, his body was in the water, but it doesn't reflect that. So I guess maybe somebody dragged him up to the shore. But the eyeball implants himself into Arthur's body. He's dead.
You knew something was going to happen.
He's dead.
You knew something was going to happen with that because they showed his body at the very beginning.
Right.
And so you knew that was something was going to happen with him. And so at the end, that's how it bookends, it ties everything together. And I will say, a big issue with this show is that the aliens suck. And the aliens are not really the main characters like in the movies. Because you think about, you go through down the line of 3 different aliens. Let's talk the eyeball.
They have 5,
the eyeball, or whatever. The eyeball, I can't remember. The eyeball monster, they only focus on 3 basically, right?
I know.
But the eyeball monster, it is so incompetent. Everyone thought like the eyeball monster is like the coolest thing ever, including me. But in this finale, it can't even handle getting into Joe. And it has a fight with Wendy, and of course Wendy is now a Mary Sue. She can do anything. She's better than everyone. She lectures all the men, of course. That's all she does. She's basically like a typical, like a modern SJW type of character. But the eyeball monster runs away, and so the eyeball monster sucks so bad, it can't even handle a fight between those characters, and now the only person that it could get into is a dead guy on a beach.
But I was kind of glad about that he wasn't, although it won't be him, but that they bring him back to life somehow, although it's not his life. But because I thought he was very shortchanged. He had a very small part. And the last episode before he died, or maybe it was 2 episodes ago, he had this little string of part, where he's wondering what's going on with the synths. He wonders about Isaac. He wonders why doesn't he turn is he the one that turns everybody's comms off or whatever?
Yeah.
And so, but he's already shown he showed some humanity. He didn't want to take Nibs's a memory, whatever her name is, a memory away from her, and he treated them more like human beings, because he didn't want to do all this fake stuff to them. He was treating them with respect. He was the only one, and his wife even went against that and did the opposite. She said, no, we're going to do it.
Back to what I was saying about the aliens. So the eyeball monster sucks, and then you have the fly. Or no, they didn't show the fly, or did they?
Maybe a tiny bit.
Is the fly different from the Venus flytrap thing? I guess
yes,
it is.
It is, because they said there's a plant monster.
They showed that one like in one scene, and it kills one person, and everyone said on Twitter like, "Oh my God, that's the most amazing alien!" Like
they hardly showed that at all.
Yeah, it just killed one person. It's like, really, like that's cool. Oh, okay. And then the xenomorphs, they're complete trash now.
Well, one of them is a person in a suit.
They're pets. They're Wendy's pets.
Well, a lot of people I saw complained about how...
the Mary Sue, she can do anything. She can do everything. She's better than the aliens themselves. And she can control the aliens. And, we have like 10 minutes every episode. 10 minutes of close-ups of Wendy doing things with her lips. which is just makes you wonder why the guy who makes the show, like if he likes to watch her do that or something, because he makes her do that like every episode for like 10 whole minutes.
To communicate with them.
And that's really cringeworthy. And then just the aliens themselves, they're not scary at all. You know, they're not even really the stars of the show. And so that's a big issue. The show's called Alien Earth, and it seems like the guy who makes the show, he's more in love with the stupid sense that, you know, the Disney adults, you know, the worst characters on the show. You know, the best characters on the show are Kirsch and Moron Moro. And they do get a little fight scene, and
but not very much.
Not a lot.
It was
yeah.
That was shocking. And what was also shocking to me was that Moro could really beat the hell out of him.
Yeah.
And a Kirsch, and I thought, what are they doing? Are they killing off Kirsch? Because that white stuff started coming out of his mouth or whatever, and that's like their blood, and that's what was happening to Isaac. And also, did that happen to Wendy when they were on the spaceship? But we've seen it before, where it came out of somebody, and one of the simps. And I thought, my God, they're killing him off? And no, but he did, his back, I guess, is still messed up. But anyway, no, and Morrow was beat up pretty badly too, but he didn't get, nobody's destroyed.
And I would like to point out that Moron something is messed up with one of his eyes. And so now he is one step closer to being Hook.
Yeah,
in
Captain
Peter
Hook.
Pan, because he has the one eye and he has the hook on his hand. So the only thing that's missing is the red uniform.
And eye patch.
Yeah.
That's what the Captain Hook had. So anyway, those were the surprises for me. And so I'll just give it a B. But because it didn't surprise me that they did this, and I know Marco says it's not an excuse, which he's right, because I've seen really good finales from certain shows I've watched in the past. I don't watch a lot of stuff, but Grimm was one of my favorite shows, and I saw what they did with the finales, and so, because they were going to the next season, too, just like this one. He needs to, I don't know, maybe look at some other stuff to learn how to do it, because if they do get another season after the next one, hopefully he can improve himself. But I was really scared they're going to get rid of Kirsch, because like Marco said, I would say everybody loves him.
He's the best character,
and he's real popular.
He's the best actor
with the
as
other
well.
actors, and with the people, the what do you call the crew. Everybody likes him a lot. And he is real likable. He's a very likable person. And so, by God, they're going to get rid of him, the most likable character in the whole show.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad they didn't get rid of him. And I'm glad Arthur, even though it really won't be Arthur, will get more of a part, because I thought he was shorted. And his wife got more of a part, and I don't think she's, you know who she reminds me of? Ghislaine Maxwell. So she has the brunette hair. She has doesn't she have a British accent?
I don't think so.
I don't know, but she just reminds me of her so much. And I'm like, ugh, gross. And she's working with kids, but there's none of that bullshit. But anyway.
Well, I would like to say...
That's it. That's all I can say about it.
A couple more things. There's a really cringeworthy scene. I think the whole episode, the story of the episode... and there's a lot of things that they set up for next season, like the other corporation, they're invading the island at the end.
But we really don't see anything.
The Asian corporation. Kutunami?
Yeah.
Kutani?
Utani?
Yutani has come! We have come to get our alien back!
Marco, don't do that.
We'll give you...
Marco, don't do that.
We'll not give you teriyaki! When we imprison you, you will not have the teriyaki. You will have
Marco,
shit.
Marco, stop doing that.
What? Why?
Don't do that anymore.
Why?
Just don't. But anyway, they don't show anything.
But,
they don't show anything.
They showed a little bit, but
just
I'm saying...
tiny fraction.
The main story of the episode was not about them. It was about the stupid Disney adults, and they're like, hey, we should make the humans afraid of us because we're the best. We're the Disney adults, and we can do anything we want.
Well, actually,
and so,
Nibs brought out the fact that she felt like a ghost.
They start acting like Chunk in the Goonies. You know that scene in the Goonies where Chunk is playing with the pipes, and they all start like banging on the pipes so that people see that they're down there and they come to try to help them get out. Remember that part, Safi?
No.
That's what it was like. It was like the part where they were like banging on the pipes and causing trouble. There's a really cringeworthy scene where the female doctor, she gets haunted, and then Nibs shows up, and it's like a horror movie jump scare with her. You know, Safi really likes her.
Well, she reminds me, she could be in any horror movie. You know what she reminds me of? Somebody from the Night of the Living Dead. That's what she reminds me.
Night of the Living Dead?
Yes, one of those zombie people.
A zombie?
And she's just, I mean, she is perfect.
I dare you to tell her that in person,
any
Safi.
horror movie, because she just has these looks about her.
I dare you.
Well, I don't care. I mean, I think that's a good thing.
Just walk up to her and say...
Better than some of these other people that they've had for playing major parts.
You look like you're a Night of the Living Dead. And
well,
she'll be like...
She didn't. I thought she was there to kill her. But all the simps have more power than you think, and Nibs said, because they saw. Remember, last week we didn't talk about it, but when they saw their graves, Nibs and Marcy saw their graves, the graves of the humans that they came from. And so it kind of impacted them. And Nib says, I feel like I'm a ghost. I'm a ghost. And so Wendy gets this idea. We're ghosts. We'll all be ghosts. So she can manipulate all this, the computers, and turn things off. The alarm systems and the comms, the cameras, everything. Just by, I don't know, touching the screen or something, and then all of the simps seem to have more powers than we were led to believe. I was thinking maybe just Wendy, and they made it sound like it too. She just had all this power, but they have a ton of power too. They take control. They're in control now. And she also communicates with the aliens.
Okay, and now, so getting back to what I was saying, there's also a cringeworthy part at the very end. No. There's another cringeworthy part. All the cringe in the show involves Wendy, the Mary Sue. She has one scene where she lectures her brother, and she says, you're bad. You did a bad thing. Meh, 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 meh.
He apologized.
And he's like, God, get off my back, bitch. You're like 10 years old, and you're talking to me like that. Like, get off my back, bitch.
Well, he didn't say it like that.
And then at the end of the episode, she lectures the boy genius, and she says, like, yeah.
Well, he deserved it. He's a jackass.
Yeah, but she is so cringe, and just her whole character, like, I'm above everyone, and, I have the aliens as my pets, and I can do anything and everything. Like, well, I am sick and tired of her character. I'm sick and tired of female characters like that, because you know what? They'll never let a male character be like her nowadays. Ever. It's always the female characters, these obnoxious, I'm better than you attitude characters. They can do anything and everything. They have no character flaws. They have no growth. They have no arc. I mean, her arc is basically just, oh my God, am I actually amazing? That's a typical Disney girl arc. Like in the Star Wars movies, the new Star Wars movies that we haven't finished reviewing and destroying. That bitch, Rey, aka the British woman. Mm-hmm. Her whole story is, oh my God, am I actually amazing? I can actually do anything and everything? That's her whole story. And so it's like, once again, a main female character in a stupid Disney show or movie, their whole story is, oh my God, I can actually do anything. and I'm so much better than all the men, and just I'm the best, and I can do anything I want. Isn't that an interesting story? No.
Well, I liked that she put him in the Boy Wonder in his place.
But she
There's
didn't.
another Boy Wonder
He's just
that I would
sitting
like
there.
for somebody to put in his place.
He's
too.
just sitting there, and that's the thing about this finale is that you get nothing. You get no conclusion.
No.
You get no kind of resolution. And what a terrible finale that is. Like, what a terrible finale that, like, the only resolution that you get is that the show has ended for season 1. And you gotta wait, like, 5 years for season 2.
Well,
which is going to
interesting
be
to see when that comes out.
Which is going to be 8 measly episodes again. And the characters all suck. I don't like any of them except for Kirsch and then Moron. And even Moron's character, wow, they really did a disservice to him. There's one scene where, what was the Indian guy's name? David? Is it David?
No.
I can't remember.
No.
Niven?
No.
Naval?
No.
What's his name?
You have Shmi, and I think it's Arush or something.
Arush?
Yeah, well, that's his real name.
Oh.
It's
well, there's
slightly.
this really cringeworthy scene where he goes up to Moron and he hits him in the head, and Moron's like, "I did not hurt your mother."
Which we knew that. I knew he didn't, because what would be the point of that?
And he hits him in the head, and it's like, the reason why that made me angry is because, like, these synths are such trash characters, and I was anticipating all of them getting killed off by now, to where she would be the only one left or something.
But
like
that doesn't make any sense.
I didn't expect for these stupid synth characters to be like the main people of the show for the whole series. Like, I expect maybe Wendy, because she's the best and she's, the Mary Sue of the show. But all the other synths, except for maybe the nipple girl, the Nibs girl.
Well, somebody, I think it was her. Somebody said I don't know who said it, but they said that we're floor models. So, you're thinking about if you go to a car dealership and you have the cars out on the floor and they're all brand new and they're really cool and they might have an old one from years before and it's been fixed up and it's painted and shiny and they're floor models, right? So they're floor models. Somebody, I don't know if it was one of them or if it was one of the humans, called them floor models, and so they didn't treat them. I really don't blame them for having an uprising, and it doesn't and that's the thing about Arthur. He didn't treat them like that. He tried to treat them like they were humans.
I think that
with respect.
the big issue with this episode is that all of the quote-unquote smartest characters were not very smart.
Yeah.
Because
including the eyeball guy.
If they were, the finale people would have had to die and stuff would have had to actually happen.
No, nothing's happened.
So it felt like all the smart characters, they were dumbed down, minus Wendy. She got to have all the best moments. She got to do all the cool things. All the other smart characters. I mean, you can say the boy genius is the most annoying piece of shit character in the show.
And he gets put in his place by her.
But
which I'm glad.
He is very smart.
Deserved it. He is smart.
He is smart, and so it's irritating that these smart characters that they're not smart in this episode for the convenience of the stupid characters. Like Nipples and the curly haired girl. She's I thought I was your favorite.
Yeah, she kept saying that. And because she goes, I shouldn't even be like this. I shouldn't be in this position. I'm your favorite.
I thought I was your favorite.
But he said no. He said, no, you're not my favorite.
She's not the favorite of like any fan watching the show either. So she's in a pretty bad position. It's because she's got nothing to do. I mean, she's a nothing character. She's like a set dressing.
Well, but she's stepped up now. She's
Really?
joined them. Well,
She
yeah,
stepped up as a character?
Well, you know what I mean.
Oh.
Within this framework this limited framework.
Now they're doing fucking Lord of the Flies or some bullshit, like I remember we had to read Lord of the Flies.
Yeah. Oh God.
It was a stupid book.
I read it
I didn't
too,
like
so
it.
we could talk about I really do. I had to read that a million years ago and I didn't care for it. But I really didn't care for it. Reading it again, I hated it. But yeah, they were the Lord of the Flies, but they're all nicely dressed and nice looking. Pretty people.
Should I don't think. I mean, I already said I give it like a B minus, but
Well, I gave it a B because I like the surprises. I don't like for everything just to be.
There were a couple of
predict every single effing thing.
I did like the eyeball thing with him going into Arthur because I did predict it too at the end when they showed him on the beach. I was like, oh, the eyeball monster said, "F all you, I'm gonna go to the beach and get inside Arthur."
I'm just glad Arthur gets more of a part.
That was my favorite part. Should I rank the finales now? Noah's finales.
Okay, Marco's going to rank Noah Hawley finale. Are you going to include this one or just the Fargo?
I am going to include.
He's going to rank the Noah Hawley finales.
So the Fargo finales are usually a lot better because they didn't get a second season.
No, they're a one-off season.
Yeah, they all end with each season, but at the same time, there is a certain Fargo season that is different from the others. That it's its own thing because it's so bad that it really shouldn't even count as a Fargo season.
And the fourth one?
That is Fargo season 4.
Yeah.
That's the worst finale he ever did. It was a COVID pandemic finale, and
they were constrained
it was a
by
terrible finale. Safi, let me do this. It was a terrible finale. It was simple to the point of you could tell that it by that point in season 4 of Fargo, they killed off all the best characters. They killed off the black grandpa or uncle. I can't remember what they called him. Yeah. He was a great character. They killed off the Irishman. He was a great character.
I loved him. He was great.
That was a disappointment.
Very disappointing.
And the worst one was they killed off Timothy Oliphant's character, which was the U.S. Marshal.
And he didn't get to be on screen much at all.
He was the best character of the entire show. He was like a Mormon Batman, and he was really cool. And I was like, wow, he's got to be like the best character they ever came up with because he's not a perfect. Well, okay, we can't get into that, but the Fargo season 4 finale is the worst one. Chris Rock thinking he can act.
Well, it was it was a shame because we went through this. He had two times during the whole season where he actually was really good, and I think it was the women who he was standing by who kind of, I don't know, encouraged him, or I don't know, but it worked, and it was really good. But that's it. He's a comedian, and he just wasn't made for it. Maybe they could do something else for him somewhere.
The problem is that you don't just have a whole show. You have to work up to that, like. He just needed more training and needed more experience.
Yeah, and he hasn't ever had, as far as I know, any kind of dramatic experience.
So the second worst finale is Alien Earth, and it wasn't even really a finale. No. It didn't do anything that a real finale would do. It basically just baited you along for another season, which it really doesn't deserve. And
yes, it does.
Wendy's character is trash. I'm tired of her character.
Well, I'm not. I like it.
I don't like the nipple girl. I don't like the brother. The brother's a soy boy. He's a beta. I don't like him.
What the hell?
I don't like him. I don't like the bald guy. You can't ever trust you can't trust the balds.
That's not right.
So, Alien.
He's not any.
So Alien Earth is the next worst one, and it's a big issue though is because it just sucks. And then the next worst one is Fargo season 5, which that was a really, really big disappointment. They set up like this huge battle at this ranch, and they didn't show the battle at all. It was more like a skirmish, It was very disappointing.
Skirmish.
What are you doing, Safi?
Skirmish.
What are you doing?
Just correcting him.
Really?
Come on.
But that was a huge disappointment. The only thing that I liked, they had a really good suspenseful scene involving, like, the last character who had any kind of, like, story to do. I can't remember the name of his character. Yeah. He comes in at the end, and you're like, oh yeah, he's still around. And it was a really, really good sequence. It was the best part of the whole finale, and it was really good, but the rest of it was terrible, and it wasn't anything that it should have been. It was a huge letdown, and it definitely did not do any favors for the season after the season already had a lot of problems. Even though Safi thinks it's amazing.
I love that Fargo. That's one of my favorite. But I agree with them. They promised something and didn't deliver.
Number 3 is Fargo Season 3, which this season's finale was really disappointing because, you know, they did a thing in that season where they had twins, and played by Ewan McGregor, and then the twin that you thought was going to be like the main character, he gets killed in, like, I don't know, like episode 4 or 2 or something, and the other brother is like the rich douchebag character, and you don't think that his character is going to be around for the rest of the season. You thought that he was going to get killed, but he manages to survive all the way to the finale. I thought that was really cool, but then they killed him off, and so that was a big disappointment, a big letdown. From what I remember, I can't remember it exactly, but there was some cool stuff, I guess, with, like, there was, like, a big standoff with the girl, Nikki, Sticky Nikki, and she stole all this money, and then she had, like, a Western standoff, and then her and the police officer shot each other. They both died. That was kind of cool, but it was just kind of a disappointment. It was another disappointing finale. And number 2 is Fargo Season 2, and I really cannot remember most of what happened in that finale. I mean, it was pretty bad. But the big thing that I liked about it was that, the thing with that finale had the Indian guy, like, getting away with everything.
Oh.
That was stupid. I mean, all the other characters had to pay. All the other characters on the show had to, you know, get killed or have some sort of a terrible ending.
Well, he got shot in the face.
But the Indian guy, the Native American guy, he just got to get away with everything and have a whole new identity and do whatever he wanted. I thought that was terrible. And then they had the whole thing where they're trying to vilify the Kirsten Dunst character, even though she wasn't ever really a bad guy at all. They tried to act like she's some horrible person, horrible character, even though she did a better job than the policeman ever did the whole season. You know, her and her husband, they were killing off the gangsters the whole season. You know, they were killing the entire family off, these crime families. They were just killing everybody on complete accident. And then, wait, what was there's one more thing in the season. Oh yeah, the best thing about the season 2 finale is the enforcer guy. I can't remember the name of the black villain guy. I can't remember his name. But
that guy, yeah.
He was probably the best character of the season.
It was good.
And he had a really interesting ending where he basically won by default, and he took over this crime family and he accomplished his entire mission, and you thought, wow, because at one point they tried to kill him. They sent people to kill him, and then he just killed them easily in like 2 seconds. But his character gets like the worst ending of any almost any Fargo character in the whole series.
He thought he was going to get the ranch because he beat everybody at the ranch.
He thought he was going to become a king, and instead he got a really boring desk job.
With I think he didn't even have a view.
Yeah. So that was just like the greatest, most like satisfying thing. And it was such a creative thing too. And that was an instance of a modern finale choice that was actually good. But everything else about the finale is terrible. And then Fargo Season 1 is the best finale, which is pretty bad because that means that it's just all been downhill from Fargo Season 1. You know, that finale was really good because it was really simplistic. You know, I thought they're going to let the police characters be like the heroes of the show, but they ended up letting, you know, Lester be the main hero of the show still in the finale, and he ends up fighting off, and doesn't he kill Billy Bob Thornton? I mean, I think he does. And so that was actually really surprising. That was really cool.
I've only watched that once, so...
Well, it was basically a big standoff between them. And then, but the big disappointing thing is that then Lester's character, he tries to run to Canada and he drowns in like ice water.
Yeah, I remember that. No, he was on the ice and it was not good.
That was stupid.
It had warmed up and he fell through the ice. He should have known better because he's from the area.
I just thought that was stupid because like this is a reoccurring thing that they do in Fargo where they won't let anyone except for law enforcement like stay alive or win or have any type of like, because they don't want to show that like crime is rewarded. But in reality, you know, criminals do get away with things. And so
we see it every day right now.
So I thought that season 1 finale, it was very simple. It had some good stuff, but it was still terrible. It was very much a letdown. It ended with you know, the female cop and the male cop, and they're cuddling together like the cops in the movie. You know, they're trying to recreate the movie kinda and do like a soft remake. Oh yeah, the worst part though is that Bob Odenkirk's character, he like give up being a policeman.
Yes, he
and
does.
he lets her take over.
Yes.
And so of course she gets to, you know, so
well, he did this old school slap your hand on my back and I'll help you if you help me. He was like a good old boy, and he didn't believe what was going on, and the cop, she was trying to tell him, and it was sexist. And I'm sorry, Marco, I'm not gonna like that, but I mean, he wasn't being a good cop by not listening to all the evidence.
It was just anticlimactic.
And that's too bad, because he's such a good actor.
It was anticlimactic, so that's how I would rank all of his finales. Overall, though, he is terrible at finales. It's a big weakness for him.
Noah.
Finales.
Noah, are you listening?
No, he's not. He's too busy.
Somebody tell Noah.
He's too busy getting turned on by looking at Wendy talking to aliens. You know, because he takes so many videos of her like doing that it's really weird.
Well, you know what it reminds me of? Bewitched, when they did the thing with her nose. She would wiggle her nose, and then, you know, something happens, it was all like, let's say she cleans the house, but she uses her witchcraft, which was wiggling her nose, and they actually came in, the set people, and they cleaned it all up and made everything perfect, and then of course they show it like as if she did that with her nose. But the thing with the nose, that I guess she was able to...
But that was actually kind of clever and cute, whereas this is just like really weird.
Well, but aliens are weird. I mean, it's just a weird thing. Whatever, but he's right. They do show a lot, but I think it's because they were trying to get... And he ought to know better than that. He's trying to get the effect right.
I know what he's trying to get.
Oh,
so
for heaven's
anyways...
sakes.
Let's end on a good note. Would be to end on is that Bob Odenkirk, speaking of him being a police character, there's going to be a movie next year with him, and it's all about like a policeman who like discovers that everyone in the small town is like in on a conspiracy or something.
Oh wow, we get something that's happening every day now. Oh boy.
So his character. So that's going to be a fun movie. I'm excited for Bob Odenkirk's movie.
Yeah, we like him, and he's a good actor, and he's lucky to be alive, because when he was doing that Better Call Saul when he had the heart attack?
Yeah, the final season was so bad it gave him a heart attack.
They had I guess, didn't they have a defibrillator?
Yeah.
And if they hadn't had that, he would have died.
I guess so.
And I mean, he could have died. And he's recovered, but I mean, he's had to probably had to change his lifestyle.
At least he's got.
I'm glad he's alive, though. He's a good actor. That would have been really terrible.
At least he's got to live long enough to see Alien Earth, one of the worst shows I've ever seen.
Well, I like Kirsch. Kirsch is the perfect person. The guy, Timothy Oliphant. He's really good, and he and Morrow are good actors, and I'm glad it's not all about Gen Z out there getting all the best. They get all the action and they get all the power, including the boy wonder. We have Kirsch and Morrow.
The boy wonder looks like Woody Allen.
He just is goofy. He
think
has
that
like little curly hair.
If they do a Woody Allen biopic, which they probably won't anymore because of his stupid ex-wife, but if they did a Woody Allen movie, I think that he should play him.
Who knows? You never know. But that's it.
I think they should. I think they should do it right now, and I'm demanding them. See, look what I'm doing.
I want them to do...
Look, I'm communicating with aliens.
I want them to do the movie with the serial killer at the Chicago World's Fair. That's what I want.
Look at me.
It's hard for you because you've got all that hair on your face. So, okay, we got to wrap it up. Okay, now he's trying to be Donald Duck. So,
no, stop
anyway,
it. You
should
take a video.
Disney thing,
Take a video of me communicating with aliens.
No, it's getting dark in here. He doesn't.
Here, what's this one?
We don't have lights in our rooms. We have to have lamps and things like that.
There was a census taker. A census taker once tried to test me, and I ate him.
Whatever.
Remember that? Hannibal?
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Perkins.
Hopkins. So anyway, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and make some comments. Tell us what you think. Were you surprised too? And did you think it was pretty dull? I think there's a lot of people who thought that they were...
I don't know why people are so surprised. I mean, I told you guys. I warned everyone. I warned Safi. I said, he sucks at finales, and, what do you know?
I didn't think it would be much anything, but I like surprises. So I thank you for putting some surprises in it, because if you hadn't...
What would surprise
it would have been really
me?
bad. I mean, it made me happy. Maybe it didn't make anybody else happy, but I like surprises.
I think that the best surprise would be if the second season was good. That would be a good surprise. That would be a surprise.
Well, we can only hope. Okay, because this is now part of the Alien franchise, and you had all these really good Alien movies at the beginning with Sigourney Weaver and the cat, the little girl, and those robots, that robot guy who didn't he pass away? And those were really good. And so and the Alien Predator, the Predator series, which for some reason I thought a Predator was going to come into play into this season, like at the end, like this last episode. But no, but I'm wondering if that's going to be a factor. The Predators. I don't know. Coming into play somewhere along the line into this series. So who knows? But anyway, and don't forget we have a Patreon, and if you're interested, there's 3 levels, and Marco does make, he is having, next month, something is coming out that he's made. He's real secretive about it, So even his own family doesn't know much about it. I just see the actors and I bring them their food and I ferry them around and help get costumes for them by going to the thrift store, and which it's not easy because of sizes and things, and I can't sew. I don't sew, so that's it. So and he'll and if he says he's going to do something, like he's going to make extra content, he's going to include your name in the credits of any of his projects for contributing, he will. He's telling you the truth. He will do that because when he says something like that, he means it, so he'll follow through. So that's it. So goodbye, everybody.
Bye.